As someone who does public speaking, about public speaking, you can imagine the kinds of questions I get when people learn what I do for a living.
Who should I have review my presentation before I go out on stage?
How do you avoid stage fright?
Should I use a script?
And so on. If my experience is typical, the dread of stage fright might be as bad as stage fright itself. I wonder how many people never even push themselves to try because they're so afraid of being afraid. After all, when I put beat stage fright into Google the other day, I got almost 900,000 hits. Well, after today, there's going to be one more, because I'm going to talk to you about how to prepare for a presentation so well that you forget stage fright is even a thing. Today I have 10 tips for you to deliver a great presentation, and I'm glad to be sharing them with you here on Founders Live, the web platform for entrepreneurs, and coming at you from Atlas Workbase, the great working home away from home down at the bottom of Lower Queen Anne that's my go-to spot for co-working. It's close to downtown, it's close to Belltown and South Lake Union, and it's easy for me to get out of here and get onto I-5 or 520, plus it's a great work environment. I'm Bryan Rutberg, owner and principal coach and consultant at 3C Communications. We help leaders and their organizations make great connections to their key audiences in print, online, and in person. My passion is public speaking, and that's what I share on Founders Live as part of their monthly influencer series, the fourth Friday of every month at 10 a.m. Pacific, and then on demand for you. I share a short coaching video like this one, and then I host an Ask Me Anything chat session. So here are my top 10 tips for preparing for your great presentation. 1, know your stuff. If you have deep knowledge of your topic, that's the most important step. If you don't know what you're talking about, you really should be worried. I hope you know how it feels on those times when you really know your stuff. You can handle any question, you can raise questions that other people might not even be thinking of. That's what starts the ball rolling for your presentation, by filling you with confidence in your material. And this has all sorts of great downstream effects. If you can talk off the top of your head on a topic, then you know that you're not going to have to worry about following a script. You're not going to have to worry about handling Q&A. Tip number 2, know your audience. Think about the people you're going to be talking to. Are they new to the subject, so you'd better stick to the basics? Or are they experts also, so you'll want to get into more intricate details? What do they need to hear from you to achieve their objectives and yours? Ask yourself, what's a good way to help them learn? How will the combination of your words, any graphics that will support your presentation, and any exercises that you can lead for them all work together to truly cement your points in their heads? At 3C Communications, our motto is create, communicate, connect. Create because you have to figure out what you're going to say. Communicate because you actually have to say it, choosing the place and the time and your media. And finally, connect because it's the most important outcome. And this is where you're asking yourself how you're truly going to not just say what you know, but make sure it sticks with your listeners. Tip number 3, study some more. Immerse yourself. When you're preparing your presentation, dig deeper. Do a little more research. See what others have said on your topic. Find answers to questions that are still in your own mind. Review other people's presentations on the same subject, or call up old emails to refresh your memory on the debate around a topic at work. If you've taken the details for granted all along, dig into them to see the building blocks of your strategy. If you've been in the weeds, make sure you understand the big picture. This extra prep will build your confidence and help you see your topic from all angles so you can teach it better. And persuasive public speaking almost always comes down to good teaching principles. You're trying to drive comprehension so the audience gets it, and retention so that the knowledge sticks with them long after you've stopped talking. Tip number 4 is start with the end in mind. Know where you want to take your audience and what you want your call to action to be. Starting with the end in mind means that you know what conclusion you want the audience to reach and the action you want them to take when you're all done. If you don't know where you want to end up, how can you decide what route to take to get there? Now, step number 5 is start with the start in mind. You have to have an opening designed to get your audience's attention. Once you know where you're going to end up, think about how you're going to get the audience's attention right from the start. Will you ask a provocative question? Maybe you'll share a surprising statistic. How about bringing a prop or telling a story? No matter what approach you choose, the first few words out of your mouth are going to grab your audience so they pay attention, or they're going to give them permission to zone out. A good start will build your confidence, one more way to reduce the stress on you. And let me plug my April Influencers Series talk on Founders Live. My topic next month is going to be 100% about how to start a speech to grab your audience's attention. Tip number 6 is don't be a slave to your script. I don't love scripts. I like outlines. If you have a script, you might lose your place or bobble a word and get flustered, and that doesn't do you any good. If you know where you're going and the general route you want to take to get there, and you've taken tip number 1 to heart, know your stuff, then you can keep an outline of topic sentences and use your own knowledge to get from one to the next. Trust me, it will be more interesting to your audience. Let me show you how I've structured this presentation today. What I've done here is something I do with clients before their rehearsals. I've put post-it notes around the room with my section headers, and I'm using my knowledge of these topics to get me through each one. Yes, I wrote a script, but no, I'm not using it word for word. Tip number 7 is be comfortable with your body. I think a big part of stage fright is concern about looking dorky in front of an audience. This is why you hear suggestions like, imagine the audience naked. Well, depending upon your audience, that may or may not be such a great idea. But I think you should be concerned about your body language, and it's not that hard to bring physicality to your presentation. Physicality that puts your audience at ease and also shows them that you're in charge. Get your hands out of your pockets, use movement and stopping to emphasize key points and mark transitions, and show your interest with your voice. If you're excited about something, raise your voice a little bit. If you want to make a more subtle point, drop it down so they get the seriousness. And by the way, in May, I'll have a lot more to say about physicality in your presentations. Tip number 8 is practice, practice, practice. Rehearse whenever and wherever you can. Are you in the car by yourself? Try out a new phrase. Think about the perfect segue from one sentence to another, or the perfect couple of sentences on any topic. Are you shaving or putting on makeup in the morning? Practice varying your tone of voice, making gestures, and making eye contact in the mirror. And of course, try out your words and your points and your general flow on peers, bosses, other experts, anyone who knows your topic, and talk to a non-expert or two to see if they can follow your logic and the flow of your presentation. Tip number 9 is psych yourself up. Before you go on stage, think about how you're going to absolutely crush it. You know, if you talk to yourself in the third person, the thing we hate when sports stars or politicians do it, but you say, Bryan's gonna go out there, he's gonna be great, he's gonna rock this presentation. If you talk to yourself in the third person, it's been scientifically shown that you actually create some separation between the you who's about to go on stage and the you who's observing the you who's about to go on stage. And if you talk to yourself in the third person and psych yourself up, it actually brings up the right levels of everything you need in order to go out and be successful. The other thing you can do is what we call power positions. If you go out looking like you just won the Olympics or something, that's a great way to psych yourself up because it raises testosterone and lowers cortisol and makes you a little bit more of a risk taker. Great way to beat stage fright. Our last tip, tip number 10, is be confident. And if you can't be confident, act confident. This is really all about walking out on stage like you own the place. This means shoulders back, chest out, chin up, Smile on your face, because when you're smiling, it's actually physically harder to feel bad. You want to let the audience know with your voice, with your physicality, and with your general demeanor that you're ready to share with them something that they need to know, something they're going to be fascinated with. There you have it. 10 tips to help you become a better presenter every time you go out and have something to say. See you in a moment over on the chat session if you're watching live, or next month right here on Founders Live for our Influencer series and the Ask Me Anything.